call and have a good one weekend. We're right along.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regularly scheduled commission meeting, February 12th, 2025. The time is now 7:02. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Here.
Commissioner Urban.
Here.
Vice Mayor Kelly.
Present.
Commissioner Santiago.
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Here, as we stand for our invocation led by Vice Mayor Kelly.
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for all of your many blessings. We thank you, God, for the grace of Opa-locka. Continue, God, to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Do those things which are pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With the flag.
Exactly.
You know.
All right. We're getting ready to go into our awards presentation, awards proclamations, and acknowledgements. So the first award that we're doing on tonight is an award presentation to our retired employee, Mr. Rodney King. Mr. Rodney King started working in the city of Opa-locka in 1989 in various capacities to include the garbage truck, meter reader, and water and sewer division. We would like to thank you for 35 years of hard work and dedication to the great city of Opa-locka. So can we salute Mr. King? You are joining now.
Yes, sir.
He started in the city the year after I was born. So it says, retirement award presented to Mr. Ronnie King. As you embark on your well-deserved retirement, we honor and celebrate your outstanding accomplishments and the positive impact you've made on the city of Opa-locka and all those you've worked with. Thank you for 35 years of hard work and dedication. Wishing you a happy, healthy, and fulfilling retirement. Myself, Mayor John Taylor, Vice Mayor Joseph L. Kelly, Commissioner Santiago, Commissioner Dr. Shirley Bass, and Commissioner Natasha Urban wish you a happy, happy retirement. And you know you're gonna be missed. You wanna see the video? As a token of our appreciation to you. So, on those cold winter nights, we don't get winter in Miami, hopefully one day. But you got this one night. When you come.
Yeah, we go back. Yeah. We've been together a long time. It's okay, your wife won't get mad. Okay.
Wait, we want to get Ms. King in here too. Somebody get her phone.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. One, two.
Right here. All right, next we have a special award presentation by Commissioner Dr. Shirley Bass, recognizing Alex Van Meckel for his significant contributions to the preservation of Opa-locka history and inspiring presentation at the Opa-locka Train Station Museum, highlighting Opa-locka's Black history. We got it, it's coming. It's coming. Well, you can go ahead and just talk. Okay. Mr. Van Meckel, please come forward and we'll.
Thank you. I'm going to paraphrase what's on the accommodations for you. We, the mayor, and Commission of the Great City of Opa-locka. Just wanted to recognize your efforts, the hard labor of love that you put into showcasing our community with the train station museum, the Heritage Trail, and so many other things that you have done. We thank you so much. And now that it's coming, I'm probably just gonna read a little bit of it. I'm gonna grab my glasses. Gotta get my eyes, y'all. Let me get my eyes. Thank you. Okay, let me just read this part. It says accommodation. Whereas the city of Opa-locka has long valued its rich history, culture, and heritage, particularly the significant contributions made by the African American community, which have shaped the vibrant and diverse city we know today. And whereas Alex, I call him Alex, has dedicated his time, effort, and resources to preserving the history of Opa-locka, helping to ensure the future generations are able to learn from and honor
the legacies of those who came before us. Whereas Mr. Alex Van Meckel has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to educating the public about the local history, particularly through his inspiring presentation at the Opa-locka Old Train Station Museum, where he shared profound stories of Opa-locka's Black history. Whereas the efforts of Alex Van Meckel has fostered greater community pride, understanding by shining a light on the untold stories that have helped to define Opa-locka as a diverse and resilient community. Whereas, through his passionate work, Mr. Alex Van Meckel has encouraged others to engage with and appreciate the invaluable history and culture that is such a vital part of the Opa-locka's identity. So it says, now, therefore, Commissioner Dr. Shirlene Bass, along with the citizens of the city of Opa-locka, my colleagues, Mayor John H. Taylor, Vice Mayor Joseph L. Kelly, Commissioner Natasha L. Irving, and Commissioner Luis Santiago, do hereby commend Mr. Alex Van Meckel for his significant contribution to the preservation of Opa-locka's history, his outstanding presentation at the Opa-locka Old Train Station Museum, highlighting a remarkable Black history of Opa-locka, presented this 12th day of February 2025. Thank you. So again, we want to thank Mr. Ronnie King for his dedicated service to the city of Opa-locka, as well as Mr. Alex Van Meckel for highlighting and preserving the history of the city of Opa-locka. We're getting ready to go into the approval of the consent agenda. Any pulls, deferrals, or deletions at this time? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by
Second.
moved by Commissioner
Her, yeah, Natasha.
Natasha Irvin, second by Commissioner Luis Santiago. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we're moving on from the approval of minutes. Do we have any District 1, District 2, or state reports at this time?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we're going into our public presentation, and we're going to have a moment in Black history from our clerk's office. Ms. Emmeline Riddick, you have the floor.
Tonight, let's
Take it off.
Tonight, let's take a moment to acknowledge the contributions and resilience of Black history by highlighting one that is memorable yet often unheard of. A powerful yet often overlooked moment in Black history. Let us remember the 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion, the only all-Black, all-female battalion deployed overseas during World War II. These courageous women were sent to Europe in 1945 to start a massive backlog of mail for U.S. soldiers, ensuring that morale-boosting letters from home reached the front lines. Despite facing discrimination, they completed their mission in record time and paved the way for greater opportunities for Black women in the military. As we celebrate Black History Month, the city of Opa-locka acknowledges the 855 women of the 6888.
Thank you. Moving on to a public presentation by Mr. Devin Vilfraud, the legislative aide from Senator Chevron Jones' office, District 34, for our legislative update.
Mayor Taylor?
Ma'am.
So we do have two presentations that will be deferred to a future meeting, and that's the office of Senator Chevron Jones, and also Rachel Badia requested to defer her presentation as well.
All right. So moving on to our last public presentation, Dr. Willie Logan, President of the 10 North Group, referencing the Florida Museum of Black History and the amendment to the Live Local Act. Dr. Logan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Manager, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Logan,
And
can we
city
actually just
officials.
take the mic off the stand?
Thank you. I'll be brief. I think we have a PowerPoint presentation. My purpose here this evening is really to give an update on where we are with the Florida Museum of Black History, the highlights, Opa-locka's proven readiness, and the legislature intent, as well as to discuss the next steps and the key actions that are needed. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, okay.
That's part of the
All
art.
right. So while we are loading it up, I'm happy to report that I was in Tallahassee last night. I had an opportunity to make a presentation before the Florida Conference of Black State Legislators. It was well received. The caucus started to take a vote last night. They decided to wait until next week. The only motion on the table was to endorse the city of Opa-locka site. Because there were members of the Senate, of course, as part of the caucus, they thought it would be respectful to allow the other two sites to present. And so St. John is presenting next week and Eatonville is presenting as well next week. So anyway, but it was well received, and I'm absolutely confident that we will get the endorsement of the Black Caucus. And how do I make it go? Nakia, you want to help me? Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, as I said, these are the purpose of tonight's discussion to give an update on where we are, to talk about the intent and readiness of the Opa-locka site, as well as to discuss the next steps. All right, so thank you. So the key areas that as you all know, let me just a little background because of the public, the legislature passed a law last year to create a task force to evaluate and make a recommendation on where a Florida Black History State Museum should be located. What came out of that were 3 sites. The reason that they didn't recommend just one site, but all 3, because they hadn't conducted a feasibility study, they hadn't conducted an economic impact, and they didn't know the readiness of those particular sites. And so part of the recommendation was that the legislature should conduct a feasibility study. So the 4 criteria was site control, whether or not the site was controlled by a governmental body, whether the site was ready, in other words, whether there's infrastructure there, whether there's appropriate zoning, whether there was access to transportation, whether the environmental issues were there, and whether or not there was a feasibility and economic impact analysis that was independent, that spoke to that fact, and then it did a comparative analysis between the Edenville site and the St. John site. The third item was the governance and financial sustainability of the site, whether or not the location had recommended a governance of the structure and had put forth a plan that would eventually make the museum financially sustainable. And the fourth item was there a possibility to immediately activate a museum while the new museum is being built near or on the site that's being proposed, and whether or not there had been any public engagement as it regards to the proposed site. To speak to those four issues, Opa-locka is the only site that is under government control. The Opa-locka site, which is the site where the state regional building is owned by the city of Opa-locka, and the state of Florida has a long-term lease. Edenville site is not owned by government, and the St. John site is not owned by government. They're both owned by universities. The feasibility study that the task force asked for the legislature to do, we felt that since we knew that the Opa-locka site would come on top, that we thought we should go ahead and hire an independent firm to conduct the feasibility study and the economic analysis of all three sites. And so we hired such a firm. The report will be ready in March. And so the legislature will not have to pay for such a study because we've already undertaken that study. The governance and financial plan, the Opa-locka site is the only site that has extra land adjacent to it, which is zoned for multi-purpose. It's the only site that's in an historical cultural area, and it's the only site that has a master plan for commercial, mixed use, and entertainment area. And that all is included in the city's current master plan. And the other sites are rural, undeveloped, no infrastructure, and not in the downtown area. The governance and funding plan, as I was saying, works because in the Opa-locka site, not only can we build a museum, but we can rebuild a more efficient and better state regional building. There's a proposed 200 units of workforce housing, 500 parking and garage, and 100,000 square feet of non-government commercial space. And that's a 4-block area. It would be no more than 4 stories, and all of that could take place in that 4-block area. And there's no other site that can provide that. If you develop both office, commercial, and housing, then you can use some of the revenue generated from that as an endowment for the museum to offset the operation costs of the museum. The county has committed through its resources to help pay for the construction of the site, and we're hoping that if it's designated, the CRA would also participate in the city as relates to some of the infrastructure and other things to offset the cost. Because one of the things the state is saying is that there has to be some local participation, both by government and the private sector. We would take the responsibility of raising the money from the philanthropic and the private and the corporate world, but we will reach back out to the city of Opa-locka and the Miami-Dade County to help with the county and the public funding. The comparable other sites, as I said, come nowhere close. I don't know if you'll ever been to Edenville, but Edenville is on the very northern part of Orange County off of I-4. Once you take that exit into Edenville, the site they're talking about is about 5 miles to the east of that in a wetland rural area. Edenville is a significant area, but the site is just not ready. And then St. John is a joke. It's the old site where Florida Memorial, and I said it on record, it's a joke. It's the former site where the Florida Memorial College University was. As you know, it was burnt down in the dark of the night in the 1960s when Florida Memorial was forced to leave St. John County and move to the greater city of Opa-locka, just outside of Opa-locka, which is where it's housed now. The site is zoned agriculture. It's a wetland. There's all kind of environmental issues, and there is no infrastructure. There are no roads, and there are no people next to the site. So it's a joke that you're even talking about St. John County. But the fact is that it was a political task force, and they had 4 members from St. John, and they voted for St. John. All right, so we're getting to the end. The feasibility study and economic impact, as I said, is being done by independent private corporation, Business Flair Academy. They have done work in the city in the past. They've done work for the county and all across the state of Florida and the United States doing feasibility studies and economic impact. We've gotten the first preliminary findings as it relates to the market demand, et cetera. It looks great. We expect to have the full report by the first, if not the second week of March, which means we'll be able to present it to the legislature to further our cause and for getting this museum sited here in Opa-locka. The financial modeling is simple. The land is available. The state is committed to at least paying the 75% of the cost of development. We must raise the rest here locally. The state has said that they will subsidize the operations for a period of time, but we must raise and get operation support and for future growth, and that's how most museums work. And the governing board should be appointed by both this commission, the county commission, and the legislative leaders in equal three parts. And then we're proposing those appointees, I think it's 3 for each body. Then we'll turn around and appoint 5 or 6 private sector folks. So you have a mix and representation from local government, county government, state government, and then they go out and get the experts who may not be represented from those appointments to ensure that you have the folks who not only can build it, but manage and operate it as a governing board. And as I said, the full report is due ahead of the legislative session, and we're the only site that has undertaken and paid for such a report. And so not only are we clearly the best site, but we'll have the documentation, the independent study that speaks to that. And so we think that will go a long way. Finally, I talked about the governance body already. Oh, okay, there you go. All right, and so I think this is the final slide, and Alex, you'll like this because no, it's not the final slide, but this slide obviously has a picture of the Opa-locka Museum because it says that we have been in the business of doing museums, doing exhibitions. This is an historical district. The city has just renovated the beautiful and iconic historical city hall. It, in my opinion, would be the rightful place of the temporary museum while the new one is being built. And so you have 4 years of activation. In the proposed legislation, it asks for the state to make all of its artifacts dealing with Black history available to this site at the state cost of getting it here and insuring it. We're paying for the storage of it and providing some program as well as installation. But obviously, City Hall would have to be available. If City Hall is not available, we take it right down the street to the Hurt Building. Not as nice, not as large, but I think the home really should be City Hall because all what you can do to activate it, if you had those types of artifacts and you had resources from the state, and we could do that on beginning July 1st as soon as the budget year starts. There's no other site that has a facility that's right next to the site or anywhere close to the site that can activate day one, or who have an organization or entity or the people like Alex of the world through your historical preservation board who is prepared to get in and really do that work. And as you know, we have the best curators in the world at 10 North. And so we're prepared to roll up our sleeve and get this to happen. You see the downtown district. I mean, you all know it as Opa-locka. It shows some of the historical buildings and points, et cetera. But once again, what we're thinking is that from the historical train station all the way to the Hurt Building, all the way to City Hall, now becomes a walking district. And I know the building on Fisherman Street has been purchased. And so the idea that we could begin to activate all of these spaces and have 6 or 7 blocks of activation of art, culture, entertainment, music. In history, we think not only will put the city on the map for tourism, but bringing food trucks and beginning to do weekend special events will once again, I think, elevate where we want to take the city to and helping it to grow and expand and be attractive for the greater people of South Florida and people who are coming here to visit. The next slide, we're going to show where we've had a couple public meetings. As you see, the meeting that we had with one of our partners down in Black Grove, where you see Senator Jones and Representative Gant. I believe Mayor Taylor, you were at that event as well. You see Frederica Wilson's chief of staff. You also see the aide, the county commission sitting together. But once again, we've had forums, we've had events, we've had conversations about this. We've had social media campaigns. We have endorsements from Miami-Dade, Broward County, Palm Beach County, from every major historical and art institutions, probably about 80, 90 letters of support. So we really do believe that we're ready. The Speaker of the House is from Miami-Dade. We have the support of both the mayor and the chair of the county commission. And I don't think anyone is prepared. Matter of fact, the representative from Edenville said last night he's yielding to Opa-locka. And we were very happy to hear that because he and Senator Thompson from Edenville were the two sponsors of the original bill that came out of the House and Senate, and they now both are endorsing or supporting the Opa-locka site. And I think the last slide. The last slide just is some comparative analysis. And I don't know whether you have a pointer, but you all know Opa-locka. But if you just think about it, you can see this is already, there's houses, homes, there's streets, there are roads, there's an airport, there's a train station, there are highways, et cetera. And this is just the 5-mile radius of Opa-locka. If you look at Orange County, this is wetlands, y'all. There's no people live here. This site is right here. The city of Edenville is here, so it's not even in the city of Edenville. And this is all wetlands. There's not a road or highway that goes through here other than I-4 passes right through here. So you can see, and then St. John is a joke. Look how far the closest road. And so, I mean, if you look at an urban area that's ready, in a hard 500,000, if you take Miramar, Pembroke Pines, North Miami Beach, Miami Gardens, Opa-locka, North Miami, and unincorporated Dade, you're in the mecca, the heart of the African-American and a huge Latino population, all which are part of the diaspora. So we think Opa-locka wins hands down, but we got to fight. Because as you know, this could be a $100 million appropriation when it's all said and done. It could be a real feather in the cap and the economic engine for any community that get it. It cannot happen at all. And if we sit back and do nothing, it won't happen, and it won't happen here. So what we're asking, our ask, is that when the city makes this part of the official legislative agenda this year, that as you travel back and forth to Tallahassee, that you work collectively with the county and 10 North so we could meet with members of the House and advocate together and be speaking the same language. We ask that whether it's the League of Cities or county commissioners, et cetera, that you talk with your colleagues and let them know how important this is for our county. And we also would ask that I think, and I believe, Mr. Mayor, you all had appropriated in 2024, $25,000 to act on this. We never did build the city for that. I think we only spent about 9,000 of it, but we never did what we did, but we couldn't get it. You all know that story. But anyway, so we were if that $25,000 is still available, then maybe it could be used to help offset the cost of the feasibility study. If not, you are using it to do something else to help promote this, et cetera. But this cannot be done without resources both in person power, resources both in numbers, and resources both in time. We clearly are committed. I mean, we've demonstrated that. I got a 3 o'clock flight yesterday there and a 6 o'clock flight this morning back here. And just a demonstration of our commitment. You see, we're here tonight. We think this is really important, not just for the city of Opa-locka, but for Dade County, and quite frankly, the people of this nation, because history should be known, should be told, and should be accessible. Thank you very much, Mrs. Mayor and members of the commission.
Thank you, Dr. Logan. Well, I do want to say I'm extremely happy that Opa-locka is even at the table, at the conversation of the table. And I know that Commissioner Irvin was the one that sponsored the legislation to allocate the $25,000 for the project, but I don't remember what the original intent of it was. But I'm talking as relates to where the pinpoint is where the money was allocated to. But I'm excited. And I'm on board. I'm on board because I think it's going to be a great change for the city of Opa-locka in both economics and residents holistically as a whole. I open up the floor to anyone who has questions for Dr. Logan.
I don't have a question, but I would just like to say thank you very much for the work that you all are putting into something so big, coming to someplace so small. And I'm on board. Just whatever I could do to help make this happen.
Mr. Jason Walker. Regina Silas. That's who started it. Yeah.
The mic.
City really does deserve the credit. We picked up the joy that started that.
Any other,
Yeah, Mayor.
Commissioner Santiago, Dr. Logan, turn the mic on, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, but another another commissioner that is gonna support it that. And I think that you're doing a great job. But something that I want to be sure that I understand, when you're talking about the three governments that they're gonna be involved, okay, you don't mention in there you don't mentioning the city of Opa-locka elected officials. It's the government. It's nothing to do with us. That's what I want to be sure.
So the way we propose that, and the way the current law is that the Speaker of the House got 3 appointments, the President of the Senate got 3 appointments, and the Governor got 3 appointments. That was for the task force. What we're recommending is, depending on the size, that the Speaker gets 1 or 2, the President gets 1 or 2, the Governor gets 1 or 2, so the state gets 3 to 6. The City of Opa-locka Commission, Mayor Commission, appoints 3 to 6, depending upon, equal to the state, and then the county is the same thing. We didn't say the mayor or individual commissioner, we just said the city commission, and we said the county commission, and we said the state government, 3 presiding officers, and appoint 6. And then I imagine there'd be some negotiations along the way, because that's the way it is. We just put a proposal out there that gave equal power to both the city, the county, and the state. And then those appointees appoint 6 or 7 other folks, so you can have private sector or philanthropic participation if the board decides.
Well, thank you, Dr. Logan. I already buy my ticket on a board.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns to Dr. Logan?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
I want to be clear, and I support the idea, Mr. Mayor, you was at the meeting, so I have a little comfort level. I know that you've been working hard. You indicated that it'll probably take 4 years to activate to really get it going, or is that the time frame that has been discussed?
I would assume that what we're asking the legislature to do this year is to designate the city, and then to appropriate money to do all the pre-development up to selecting both the architect and engineering and all the folks who have to actually do the plan. And then in 2026, to appropriate money to actually do the construction drawings and to do the bidding. And then in 2027 to start construction and finish in 2028. So yeah, we think it's a 4-year progress, but the activation of the temporary museum to begin July 1st, 2025. Why
Okay,
that 4
that's
year?
where I'm headed, because in your recommendation, or what you're asking, to pass a resolution endorsing the location.
It really should say, you all already have passed a resolution
Right.
supporting the location, but I'm asking that you support the temporary use. The city hall would be the temporary use of the temporary museum while they're building the permanent one.
Okay, I'm just looking at the list, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It said, I thought we had already endorsed
You
the,
had, unfortunately, first of all, AI helped with this. Secondly, is going to, like we did it for the county, we did it for a whole bunch of bodies, et cetera. We did it for individual commission. I know you all may have gotten individual letters. So we didn't correct everything for every appropriate body, but no, the city had already, like the county commission already voted. So we may have sent them a letter saying pass the resolution. They've already passed the resolution. So it's not perfect, but and that's why I didn't mention that tonight. We have that resolution, but we would like the formal support if the commission sees it wise to do that. You use City Hall as a temporary space that the state will fund it.
okay, another thing I heard you ask, the 25,000 that we had appropriated that was sponsored by Commissioner Irvin, supported by the commission, you said you really hadn't billed the city at all.
Well,
But you've done about 9,000, well,
Yeah, we
okay.
did, but we hadn't act on.
You hadn't received payment.
Yeah.
So I heard you asking if that's still available. So I guess that's really a question to the manager can answer at some point, if not tonight. I guess we kind of scared to ask you something with all that royalty on you. know.
Right.
It was definitely fiscal 23-24.
But maybe you could just scratch a check and do it yourself. You know. But I hear that as well. So the manager's listening to us, and she's hearing that we are supportive. So I'm quite sure she'll meet with you to flush out that part of it. And then so really the major part is the interim site until it's built. Okay, interim site. And I think that's key because we just had the ribbon cutting and there's already concern about what it's going to be used for and whether the community is going to be involved and will it have a public purpose. And so that would kind of address one part of that concern because you would have something there as a part that could draw as we're getting to that 27, because I know the CRA's got some plans for downtown that, with development, so that would tie into that. So from our perspective, you really need that in some kind of legislative resolution. I'll say it like that. And when is the meeting again? The one that you would really like to have have the backing. Can
You all come to Tallahassee on the first week of March, the week of session, beginning session.
Commissioner Kelly.
We would like you all to have a formal position in regards to the temporary site.
Right, that's
You still have the floor, but I want to comment on something that you ask a question based on what you just said. How much square footage do you need for a temporary site?
I'm sorry.
How much square footage do you need for the temporary site? Are you asking to
I
activate the
think-
entire building or just
No,
a little small room?
I think at some point, the city needs to come up with a game plan of what it idealistically like to see the property used as.
No, I'm talking about the
reason I
temporary
say that,
site.
in doing an exhibition, you can do an exhibition in 1 room, 2 rooms,
Okay.
3 rooms, 4 rooms. You could do it outside. You could do, you could do sculptures. I mean, you can do examples of houses that people lived in, so you could do it on the ground. I mean, there's any number of things we could do. We would curate based upon what was available, for example, you may want to do something special in October because it's, I don't know, what's October, Cancer Month, and whatever the case may be. So you may want to focus on something like that. It really, I mean, you curate around, just like we curate the Hurt Building. I mean, there's offices, we use it for events, we use it for breakfasts. I mean, whatever the case may be, we will work with the city to curate historical exhibitions around the availability, how much space is available. So there's no magic wand. It's just that building is 3 times as large as the Hurt Building, and the Hurt Building doesn't have any land. So, I mean, what you could do if the Hurt Building was big enough to do it, clearly City Hall is. And I think the legislation says there has to be 3 historical exhibitions a year, which means they could be for a month, they could be for 3 months, so there's no, we didn't say all of City Hall. We just said that City Hall would be a venue, a temporary venue to do exhibitions, but we didn't define it any further than that. And they won't have no lease on it. The city would still control it.
Commissioner, Vice Mayor, you still have the floor, but Madam Manager, I believe in the proposal that you submitted to the commission, it had a historical proponent, for a museum in historical City Hall.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
This would just give you access to artifacts, so you don't have to buy them from somewhere else, and hopefully gives the money to insure it and store it and
Vice Mayor.
program it. So
thank you. That's why I was asking that, because I know we had, through the manager, already proposed something, and I just want to be sure, because I've been around a long time. We're not going to take the building. It's just going to become one-dimensional.
Right.
It's really going to be used as we work towards a permanent site, and it's not going to be that when the museum is in there, nobody can use it. I want to be clear, because I know how folks will
absolutely.
run out and tell the story.
Absolutely.
So I think from our perspective, you need that resolution or whatever by the time we come to Tallahassee in March. And the other part of it is to obviously deal with the 25,000, what the manager can do on the side.
And Mr. Vice Chairman, I would strongly suggest that in your resolutions, those things that you want to make sure, like what you just said, is part of the whereas clauses or the now therefore clause. To ensure that, you're talking about the city owning it, the city still managing it, the city, these are just temporary uses for programming. Simple as that.
Well, I'm quite sure as a whole, we'll probably, I'm pretty sure, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm pretty sure we'll sponsor it as a whole, but Madam Attorney will work, with you and the manager to make sure the wording to include whatever, but I don't want it to be viewed as just one dimensional. But there are some time frames, that's really what I was getting at, that need to be addressed. So, I think that's doable and look forward to, having it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Thank you, Dr. Logan. And on that same point, Vice Mayor, Madam Attorney and Madam Clerk, because I know we are running out of time, is that something that we can have for the next commission meeting? That resolution that Commissioner Kelly is speaking to? Okay. All right, thank you.
I spoke with the city manager before the meeting. We're gonna live the discussion for local live once we set a date for the workshop. And I'll work with her tomorrow to do that.
Got it.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you all
sir.
very much.
Thank you, Dr. Logan. All
And
right,
Dr. Logan, just for the record, through the mayor, if you can work with our office so that we're not surprised as legal for whatever comes up, we would appreciate it. Have your legal, your legal,
Copy to everybody but you.
right. So
Which- which-
and
Stephen
I
on the
think,
street, you heard that?
and I think we are most important. So please,
Sorry
if
about
you'll
that.
have your attorney call us,
We
we'd
will.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
all righty. Thank you, Dr. Logan. All right, we're moving on to our citizens forum. Madam Clerk, can you please state for the record how to participate in citizens forum?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at the Opa-locka Government Center, City Commission Chambers, 780 Fisherman Street, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is a part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And Mr. Mayor, at this time, we do not have any virtual public comments.
All right, so citizens forum is open for those in the chamber. Citizens forum is open. Mr. Dennis, do me a favor. Take the mic off the stand and turn it on. You'll see that it should turn red. The button is at the top. You got it? Well, we got IT coming for you right a second. And then we'll turn it on and then we'll start the clock over because we're gonna allow you to reclaim your time. All right.
Oh, y'all.
1 second, Mr. Dennis. Let him reset the clock. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Brian Dennis, address 2140 York Street. Like to commend the mayor and the commission. I'm standing here on behalf of Tommy Johnson of Scoop. But I really wanted to thank each and every one of y'all, especially Ms. Irvin, Commissioner Irvin, and here's why. Because, well, Coach had him first. No, did he? Then I got him and raised him to where he at now. And he always talk about how I mentor him. But it's great to see him give back. And he wasn't looking for that. And I was glad that you all honored him in that way. Now I'm a little disappointed in the mayor, so I'm gonna take a shot at him right now because he didn't make Scoop speak. I've been trying to get him to speak publicly for years. It hasn't worked. But I got a slight complaint, but it's not a complaint. The sign that's in the front of the old city hall, where the manager's name is, I think the interim shouldn't be there. I think it just should have said city manager Shameka Lawson. No, she didn't say nothing to me about it. I just recognized it because it's the work that's being put in by each and every person. So it should be done. That's just my opinion. I feel like she's doing a great job and the city is very calm. It's very calm. The other thing I want to talk about right quick is the water meters on the park. AT&T was on Siegel Park. They wind up running over the water meter of Miss Mary Jackson. We call her Miss Mary Kate. And I guess the county, because I don't think we got a water department, the county came out and told her she had to pay for it. And there was an exchange going on between her and the guy from the county, in which Oop got into it, and then he had to call me to see what was actually going on. So I went to see Miss Jackson, Miss Mary Kay, to find out what actually happened. And those meters, it's like 6 or 7 water meters that sit on Siegel Park. They sit in the park because the park took the property. So all those people meters are in the park. So if something happens to the meters on the park, those homeowners are not responsible for them because they're on the city park. It's like 6, 7 of them on there. And so they wind up getting it done. But I told her, and I didn't have a chance to do it today, that I was going to ask her, go to the water department to see if the pressure could be, if the meter turned all the way
Thank you, Mr. Dennis.
back up. One other thing, Mr. Mayor, please. I know I complain a lot and push, especially when the last manager was here. But I got to commend those officers from the police department. Got to.
Thank you.
That
Yes,
was
sir.
on scene when those kids lost their lives. Got to commend them for that. Really appreciate you guys for that. Really do. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Chris Roberts, 640 Dunat Avenue. I'm all for the changes and all of the great things that's coming to the city of Opa-locka. But if Willie Logan owed us $25,000 for 40 years, nothing should be talked about until the $25,000 should be paid.
Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jan Avenue. I wanted to thank the city and everyone for the ribbon cutting of the old historic City Hall and the state of the city. Everything was beautiful, well put together. I literally thought that I was in the embassy of Morocco and South Africa, how beautiful everything looked. I also wanted to speak in regards to, I was happy to see that there was a radar speed limit on Jan and Ahmad. However, it was there like for a week and then they took it out. So, I mean, it stopped me from going a little faster because it was right across the street from my house. But I wanted to know if there's a system in place, if there's going to be a traffic study or what's going to happen. So that's a question. Now, this is to the charter members. City clerk, city attorney, and the interim city
Commissioner
manager.
Dominguez, address the commission.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say hi to them. They report to the dais. They know their job and their duties and their responsibilities. They protect the dais all the time, which they don't have to do, okay? Last meeting, which I encourage everyone to go back and look at the meeting to see yourself speak. And something that Commissioner Dottie Johnson used to tell me all the time, go back and look at the meeting. I saw one of the members of the dais speak to the interim city manager. I felt that it was unprofessional, harsh, and demanding. And this is my opinion. I'm sure she has an open door policy, especially with her bosses. And I would just encourage that the next time, if you would like a meeting, I'm pretty sure she can give you a meeting and, talk about what your expectations are and to investigate, provide, and to hold her accountable. Now, I also wanted to thank Commissioner Irvin for the ordinance that she brought about, which is amending the loud or unusual noise on the street. You got the memo.
All right, citizens forum is still open. Citizens forum is still open.
I'm just not going to touch it. Alex Van Meckel, 806 Jan Avenue. Good evening, Mayor and Commission, City of Opa-locka staff, residents, businesses. I just want to start by thanking the commission and the city. I moved here 3.5 years ago to my historic home. I recognized that there was a value in the home that I purchased with the historic marker that was on that structure. And since then, I've been completely mesmerized by the possibilities of our community. It means a great deal to be recognized, but more importantly, I want the community and its residents to be engaged and to be aware of the exciting things that are at their doorstep. The Heritage Trail is available to you 24/7, starting at the historic fire station. You have an Opa-locka museum at the historic train station at 490 Alibaba Avenue, which is open the last Saturday of every month from 10 to 2. And assuming we can get more volunteers and support, it will have even more regular operating hours. My point in saying this is I might be part of a movement or a mission, but it is not about me. It is about our collective. It is about our identity. And we have 98 years of stories and places and people to get to know and to invite into our home. So I wouldn't be where I am in not just being a historic homeowner and active resident, but also in doing what I'm doing with historic preservation and environmental, for that matter. That's an important part of preservation as a whole, without the support. It has come from you, the dais. It has come from the city administration and staff. I know I can't speak to them directly, but I'll say it through you. I'm so thankful to the city staff for believing in some of my crazy ideas as much as you. And for what it's worth, a lot of these initial conversations started as a complete outsider, with 10 North helping to support, at least to start with, the Heritage Trail, and the rest is history. So between all of these efforts, last year's manifest, which I hope to bring back this summer, which will come to your attention hopefully very soon. I care a great deal about Opa-locka. My intentions are very pure. But again, I implore everyone to stay involved, stay engaged, and stay in touch. Discover Opa-locka on social media, and the website is my platform to be able to connect and to receive and to invite others from the outside to explore. So again, I'm very touched. I'm not big on awards, and I'm certainly not big on speeches unless I'm giving a tour to the public. But I just had to say that this really means a lot to me, and I'm thankful to the city.
Thank you, Alex. All right, citizens forum is still open. Citizens forum is closed. All right, we're moving on to our first reading ordinances. Madam Attorney, I'm sorry. 16A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending ordinance 2022-02 relating to the Historic Environmental Preservation Board to establish an administrative process for the approval of regular certificates of appropriateness for certain improvements, renovations, and maintenance projects on historic designated properties listed in the COA matrix, providing for severability, providing for conflict and repealer, rescinding all ordinances in conflict, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion? Moved by Commissioner Irvin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Manager, go ahead and present it, and we'll open up for public comments.
Historic designated homes are required to present any request for rehabilitation and repairs to the Historic Preservation Board. It has been determined that an administrative process should be established to allow for minor home repairs. This will expedite the process for historic property owners seeking to change small features such as windows, doors, or roof replacements. Mr. Gate is also available to answer any questions you may have.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any questions for Mr. Gay on this item? All right, hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 first reading.
All right, 16A2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 14 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances entitled Nuisances, creating new Section 14-13, paren 1, and subsequent numerical sections to be entitled Registration of Abandoned Vacant Foreclosure Properties, providing for purpose, intent, and applicability, providing for registration and maintenance of certain real property, providing for penalties and enforcement, as well as the regulation, limitation, and reduction of registrable real property within the city of Opa-locka, providing for severability, repealer, codification, and an effective date. This is sponsored by Mayor Taylor.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Irvin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. I present this item. This item is simply to begin the foreclosure. We're trying to clean up Opa-locka, the blighted and the abandoned properties that people have walked away from and have left neglected. So this process is as the manager says, as administrative step in order to start the foreclosure process so that we can do something about these abandoned properties throughout our city. This is a public hearing item. So public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. And also, I do have Mr. Gay and the attorney here if you all have any questions as it relates to this item. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I do have a couple of questions, but I'll defer them to the attorney for the brevity of time. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yeah, like the sponsor that you are for that ordinance. I heard that you say if we are not making a mistake, that's gonna help enough to foreclosing properties. Can I hear something a little bit more about that? Because that's a question that I asked in my breeding meeting for the agenda. And I got a different answer for that from our city attorney.
From the city attorney?
Yeah,
What answer
and
did she give you?
I like to have a little bit more.
What was the answer that she gave? What was the question that you asked?
Well, you now say a few minutes ago that that's gonna help us, to creating, a resolution in the future to give it the power to the city, okay, to go after this property and doing the foreclosure a favor to us, to the city, to collecting our money. And I know the like meetings ago, like 2 meetings ago, we'll be talking about that, and they said that we don't have any policy, to take over the property when they owe so much money to us for all this year. We're talking about maybe 40, 45 years, and we never can do anything about it. The city,
Mr. Mayor?
that power.
And that's essentially what,
If I may,
Madam Attorney.
I think Commissioner Santiago may have misunderstood. What we talked about during his agenda briefing was that this is one of the things that can lead us to a place where we can have more, I guess, more teeth to try to do things and put things in an order where you don't have properties that hopefully over a long period of time build up fines. But we're limited. And as I said in a previous meeting, and I said it also in his meeting, we're limited in what we can do there are a lot of factors to consider, which is what I told him. And I said the same thing I said in a previous public meeting, which is it depends on the property, and it depends on, what liens are against the property. It depends on, ownership, where in line you could be to even, be in place. Some of these are code enforcement liens. It depends on whether it's residential or commercial property. I told them all the things that you have to have in place to consider that, but this is one step in the process is what we told them. And so it was me and the interim manager and the other people in the room, and we were, I think, all on the same page. Mr. Gay is here, and so maybe perhaps Mr. Gay can explain, Mr. Mayor, a little bit better, if you would allow him to, what this is intended to do. It's a registration ordinance, and so next you would have to get a vendor, but we had to have the ordinance for registration in place first. So Mr. Gay is prepared to kind of speak about the process, and if you would allow, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. I will allow.
Through the manager, Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. As was previously discussed, the primary focus of this legislation is to deal with a registration process, and that registration process can lead towards the opportunity of foreclosure, which would be most likely the last step as it relates to the city addressing those particular properties. But this is to begin the process so that we can have a vendor come in, have the vacant properties, abandoned properties, and properties that may be within a foreclosure process, register with the city so we can identify who those particular properties are, who they're owned by, whether it be owned by a private institution, private owner, or a bank. But we need to make sure that we know who those entities are to make sure that when it comes to the lien citations and violations, if we get to that point, that we'll have a contact person and they will be able to address whatever corrections need to be made on the property. So that's what this ordinance is in essence doing, giving us the initial tools so that we can start the process to get to that point.
Thank you.
questions?
Mr. Mayor. Well,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I feel more comfortable with the explanation that you tell us now, because this is the beginning for something that I asked him before, or we asked him before about that, and they say, well, it's not possible to the city, but I see possibility now. Okay, that we're gonna have that kind. I don't want to call him power, but we're gonna have, the right to go to these properties or own the properties or bank and let them know that we don't need to see that property that way no more. And we were talking about a property that we have there for years and years and years and years, and the person he don't want to do anything about it to beautify that place or to fix it or to clean it up. Right in the middle of the center of a residential area. I'm comfortable now with that. I'm gonna support it because I know that's the beginning for what we asking before that is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 first reading.
All right, moving on to item 16A3. Madam Attorney.
And ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3, Division 3, Section 2-132A, entitled Calling and Notice. Article 4, Division 1, Section 2-316, paren 3B, entitled Administrative Policies, Powers, Duties, and Functions of the City Manager. Article 4, Division 1, Section 2-320.2 D1, entitled Cone of Silence. Chapter 8.5, Section 8.53B, entitled
No,
Resolution.
Madam
Madam
Attorney, you
Attorney.
got the wrong one. 16A3.
And they let you go long
Yeah, 'cause I
time.
was trying to figure-
Yeah, you
An order-
did.
an ordinance
They
City
let y'all go
Commission-
long time.
City of Opa-locka amending chapter 15.
Thank you, sir. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 15, Article 5, Section 15-75 of the city's Code of Ordinances, entitled Loud or Unusual Noises on City Streets, and Section 15-80, entitled Discharging Fireworks, Combustibles, to define the time restraints, exemptions, and violation enforcement, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Irvin.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago, second by Vice Mayor Kelly. Madam, let me say Madam Manager, I'm sorry. Commissioner Irvin.
Madam Commissioner, yes, this kind of speaks for itself, the ordinance does, but just to let the noise, it's a bit much. We had fireworks last week. The 4th of July, we had fireworks on Saturday. The 4th of July was over weeks ago, whatever we just had.
Years.
Was just over, and it's a nonstop. It's constantly going. Music constantly, too early in the morning, too late. It's just something that needed to be not just reformed, but we needed this.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Okay, Madam. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Madam Commissioner, I'd like to co-sponsor it, but I'd also like to know if you'd be amenable. You have 1 a.m. on here. I'd like to make it 12 midnight personally for it. And the other question, unless it's authorized with a permit, I mean, if it's got a permit, that's fine, but 12 midnight. The other question I had, the ordinance speaks to a warning and then the fine assessment. And I'm thinking about some folks, you go there at, let's say, 1:05 to warn them, and then they turn it down because the police, whoever comes by, and they turn it back up at 3. Would the assessment kick in then, or would have to be on another occasion? Because personally, I think it ought to kick in then. But I don't know if the ordinance speaks directly to it, because that's the other part that happens. Even we tried to enforce some of the ones we've had, they turn it down, you leave, and they turn it back up. Whether it's particularly music, but I agree with the fireworks too. So I don't know if the ordinance speaks directly to it. If it does, maybe I missed it, but if it doesn't, I just want to be clear. But I wholeheartedly support it and like to be a co-sponsor.
Okay, I'm okay with that. The reason I said 1 o'clock, because some people may say that 12 o'clock is too soon that they're a party, but after 1 o'clock, there should be no excuses as to why you still have to have the music so loud. And I want to think that if a police get there at 1:15, that they would receive their warning at that point. And if the police has to go back at 3 o'clock, then the necessary fines should take place at that point. Maybe we can make that more clear in the legislation if need be.
Okay, I don't really have a problem with 1. I just, it just seems like it takes folks a while to unwind after they're supposed to stop. 'Cause I think we have something on the books now that is supposed to stop, and they don't. And I get that complaint, they turn it down, and then when the police, if they do come by, it goes back up. So if it's all possible, if it doesn't speak to it, to make sure it does, that fine can happen that same night if they have to go back. I just want to be clear on that, because otherwise I can see people trying to take advantage. And again, it comes down to enforcement as well. So, and that's an ongoing issue, as you know, because you don't heard enough of Meet Me Monday, where residents feel like the police are not going when we do hear it, or they hear it in the run of their regular patrolling. I do know on Monday there was a thank you from one of the residents about noise, that the police did go there and it went down. And so hopefully we're going to get better with that. But if we could just make sure if that's in there, I'm okay with it. If not, to tighten it up for the second reading, so that's very clear that it can happen.
I'm getting winks down there from the attorney. I don't think that
Yes,
can happen.
sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure what communication staff may have had with Ms. Wilcox on it in terms of how it's done, but it would go through the code enforcement process, right? Am I right? Okay, so it's not like you're going to be going out and saying, "Give me money for the fine." So what I'm saying is, once it gets triggered, it then goes to code enforcement, and so that would be a part of the process.
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Kelly?
Yeah.
I was ooh, okay.
Right.
Number one, code is not out there 2:30 in the morning. So my question really is,
Police.
if Officer A goes out at 1:15, as Commissioner Irvin is saying, you're in violation, warning, stop, turn it off.
Right.
The noise continues, it's 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and the officer has to go back. That's the question I have.
Are you all collecting fines? You may want to, because I'm not sure what staff talked to with so it must be, I don't think they
Mr.
collect
Mayor.
money from.
Well, I just know they ain't collecting
Yeah.
money, but
Right.
right.
Yeah, I know. It's something.
Good evening,
that is-
Commissioner.
Wait,
Uh,
1 second,
Yeah.
Chief.
Oh, Mr. Mayor.
One second. You,
Yeah, I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the process is internally, so that's really the police and a code, or however, they're gonna know better than I would.
all right, so any other comments for the commission?
Yes. It's getting good. This
I'm waiting on the answer.
You asked the answer for the chief?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
waiting
you,
on the answer.
you asked them to come up. Oh, I didn't
He
get
wants you to come,
No,
he wants you to,
the manager asked him to come up to give an explanation. Because the reason I'm saying that, I don't want us to create legislation, which I wholeheartedly support, and it doesn't do what it's intended to do. And I fully support what Commissioner Irvin wants to do, but I want to know the process. You're saying code, but code's not out there.
So,
Go ahead, I'm
so,
sorry.
Vice Mayor, if I could say, we're saying a fine, but a fine is actually a ticket. They'll receive a ticket. Yes, it'll be a ticket. We're saying a fine, but it's a ticket.
Mr. Mayor, to the sponsor, let's first, listen what he want to say to us about that. But before we talking about any fine, okay, this ordinance have to be passed. Is one.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
we
and then-
understand that.
okay,
because
wait,
it's made me confused.
Wait, Commissioner
Yeah.
Santiago, 1 second.
I was answering Kelly's question that a fine, we're saying fine, but it's a ticket. I was answering Kelly's question, Vice Mayor Kelly.
Got it. All right, so Commissioner Kelly, what's your question? You still have the floor for the.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to rein it in.
I'm trying. Yeah, I know you're trying. I'm about to get one of these Hershey Kisses here and do something. I want to be clear, because I don't want to be perceived that we're passing something which we all agree needs to be dealt with. So if the sponsor is saying it is a ticket that the police department can issue, I'm fine with that. I just wanted, my question really was, if they go out, as I said, at 1:15, the ordinance says 1 a.m., turn your music off, whatever. The police has to go back out at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and they're still doing it. Now it becomes an infraction, violation. So according to the sponsor, they will be issued a ticket.
It's a,
Now, whatever the process after that's whatever, but the ticket that they would have to comply with because they received it.
that is correct.
Okay, that's what I want to be clear of, because I can see that happening, but we do need to address the noise, and I think people do take it for granted. So the police department will be able to do the ticket if the violation occurs, even on that same night or whatever.
That is
Okay,
correct.
that answers my question, so I'm okay with that. Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Santiago?
Thank you. For the sponsor again, I don't try to say anything negative, because I really like that item, and I'm gonna be a supporter of that. But something that I want make it clear is this. Okay, the ordinance say that they allowed to be up there up to 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm sorry, 1 a.m. in the morning. But what does that mean? You're gonna tell the the people up there, no, you have to finish your party and that's it, no more music when they are in the house, in the private, residential. Is not doing the right thing to say, yeah, you have to lower it down. Okay, we don't want no more noise. But not going there and dictating that you have to finish the party or that's it for tonight. Okay, I believe, okay, like Monday to Thursday, okay, we don't have to let people, be loud or do parties, in the work days. But Friday and Saturday, that's a family, weekend or something like that, and you have a party in your house, and you have permit to have the music loud or whatever up to 12. Let's put in 12. I like that time, 12. Like how did the Disney thing, the everything finished at 12? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. 12 is okay. But it's me, like, yes, lowering your music. Okay? You can be loud. But not going out there and say everything is done, finished. I don't think it's fair. Okay. That's my concern. I love the item, and I like to remember the sponsor for that item that you forgot something that is making a lot of noise to the city, and it's a lot of complaints. That's the auto racing track that we have in front of the 37th Avenue. I believe that that's supposed to be included here too, because that make a lot of noise and worse and bad. I like the item. I love it, but let's be, a little more careful with the time and what we're going to tell the persons or the people that they doing that. Because if it's that, we have by Alibaba and 22nd and another residential area, we have their bars that they have music for the whole morning. And that's going to be including these places, no?
It's throughout the city of Opa-locka.
Okay, but including the places, the nightclub.
The nightclub is usually
Yeah,
inside.
nightclub or whatever they want to call it, but I know there's one there that I can hear the music from my house every night. Not only the weekend, Monday to Friday, even Sunday. I think I say whatever what I feel about it. I love it, but let's including too that noise that we have there in 37th Avenue by the airport. That is very bad. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or concerns for this item? All right, so the only question I have, I didn't like the 1 o'clock. I felt 1 o'clock was too late. So I'm with Vice Mayor Kelly, into amending that to say midnight, if you don't mind on that. And then the other part where it says, on city observed holidays, in case those holidays, these activities shall be prohibited daily between the hours of 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. So only holidays that are observed by the city. So if we have an organization that wants to come in and do a firework on, let's just say, their holiday,
They
won't
would
be
do an
permitted.
application.
But it doesn't specify that in this. And then I noticed that the part where it says, upon proclamation or by written permission of the mayor, that was taken out. So I wanted to get your,
Yes,
yeah.
they would do an application. If they wanted to do, if my organization wants to do fireworks, we would come to the city and ask for a permit to have fireworks at that day, at
So
my event.
who determines whether or not it's approved or not? The commission?
Where all the other permits go through,
Okay.
the city.
I guess I'm talking about the time, because you specified here the time.
Right.
Fireworks, gunpowder, discharge, squibs, and other combustible, blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm referring to.
Yes, because they do fireworks all night long.
I got it. We're all on the same page. I just
Okay.
want to know who will grant that permission. I think that should be stated inside of the legislation. As I said, I see you took out upon proclamation or written permission by the mayor. So you don't want the mayor to do it, but then there needs to be an oversight. So it can.
Okay, so we
can
need to
add
put
the
in there that
language?
for the
It can-
regular permitting process.
You're the.
We'll have it. We'll make the adjustment.
Okay. All right. And also the other amendment, which was Vice Mayor Kelly's amendment, which was midnight.
I don't know if I like midnight or not, and I'm gonna tell you why. Midnight it's still early. It's late, but it's still early. So if we say 1 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, we've given you guys ample time to get all your music loud, everything out, and at 1 o'clock the city should be quiet. It's not gonna be, but we have to have enforcement to help us to make it quiet. Cause 12 o'clock is still young. I mean, I'm in my older years now, but when I entertained a lot, 1 o'clock was, I mean, that's a lot of time.
I want to split 12:30.
I mean, it's just it's to me, it's just counterproductive to what
Yeah, I want to split 12:30.
discussed before. But that's just me, because we complained about noise, and all of us get those calls from residents, especially those in highly senior populated areas, that the noise is too loud. So yeah, one to me, because as it stands today, it's 11. So you're pushing it back 2 extra hours. So now the calls are going to be increased, and we get them now. So
And they don't stop at 11. So if we do it to 1, we're giving you 2 extra times to get 2 extra hours to get everything out the way, so that at 1 o'clock, we don't want any excuses. You turn it down, go inside with it. We don't care. We just don't want to hear it out here. We've given you 2 extra hours, so we're being fair. 2 extra hours.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Santiago.
okay, with the amendment from 12 to 1, I think the sponsor, she's right to give it a little bit more time, to finish the parties or whatever at 1 o'clock. But also, please, okay, see, like Monday to Thursday, that's a working day that everybody had to wake up early. I don't want to hurt a party next to my house after 1 o'clock. Okay, weekend is fine. Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday, up to some time, early to that. But not every day. Not every day. I don't that I'm in the right track, okay, with that amendment. And also, please, just including the noise that we have in 37th Avenue when that racing track, that is make a lot of noise. If that's the reason why we wanted passing that, because we have noise and all that in the whole city, but that's part of the noises. I'm fine when 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning, okay? And after that, please be clear. Okay, what are we gonna do to the owners of the properties or that? Finish the party or low the volume? That's one thing that we have to be sure that is there. Finish the party, or please you have to low the volume of the music, because he can stay in the house or quiet.
All right. Yeah, I kind of agree with Commissioner Santiago. If we're gonna do it, then maybe we should phase it out. That Monday through those working nights, Monday through Thursday, it's one time, and then on the weekends it's a different time. But as it stands, yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Vice Mayor.
the only challenge with that is, we need a uniform time, in my opinion, because sometimes, depending on who you are, holidays and or occasions, someone may have loud music on a Tuesday because of whatever's going on. It's highly unlikely. I think the real issue, as far as I'm concerned, is enforcement, number one. And number two, reason I said 12:30 just to go midways, because the reality is right now it's 11. And they're going past that even now. So to me, to give them to 12:30 is adding an additional hour and a half. Because, I think, and again, I won't get too technical. I think the way our shifts are, the police don't change. They're doing 12-hour shifts. And so they're switching, if I'm not mistaken, around that same time. I don't know what the hours are, but I don't have a problem with 1 o'clock, but the enforcement still needs to be there. And I think if I'm clear on the ordinance, it's not to lower it down, it's that you stop the noise or stop the fireworks or whatever, because it's past the time that the ordinance is indicated. So I just suggested 12:30 because it seemed like there was, some midway. I can support 1 because it's 11 right now, and nobody, in my opinion, really adheres to that. So if you want to go to 1, it still has to be enforced. I can agree with that, but I don't like the idea of Monday through Thursday a certain time and others, because there are some holidays, there's some things that occur that are going to happen on a weekday that may be partial to someone. So that to me will be kind of a little challenging. And with regard to the airport, I know interim manager was working on something with that. I don't know if this legislation could even encompass that or the intent. I'll defer that to the sponsor. Yeah, it's allowed, go over to the county, to the airport, and did you encompass that in this legislation? I don't think it did. But
No, it's not.
It's not in there specifically leading to them, but they shouldn't be racing cars before 9 o'clock in the morning.
No, I don't disagree with that, but I think this legislation is not something we pass that our police officers are going to go over to the airport at, whatever time. I think that's a whole separate issue that we've tasked the manager to address. So I'm fine either way. I'm
And
All right.
Mr. Mayor, to the manager, you're meeting with them tomorrow, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, any other concerns to this item? We can call the question, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
For 1 a.m.,
Mhm.
for 1 a.m., yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
No.
Motion passes first reading 4-1.
All right, we're moving on to our second reading ordinances. 16B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to adopt a text amendment to the Land Development Regulations Ordinance 15-31 to permit construction trades and equipment, vehicle storage, vehicle recovery, repossession and storage, tow truck and tow vehicle storage, shipping container storage yard, utility vehicles, and equipment parking and storage uses in the I-4 zoning district, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on January the 8th, and this is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move.
Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly, second by Commissioner Irvin. Madam Manager?
The I-4 zoning district is designated as a liberal industrial storage and salvage area, which typically attracts junkyards. This text amendment will allow innovative uses of the I-4 zoning. It would include usage such as construction equipment and/or material storage sites and tow yard recovery and vehicle storage. Mr. Gay is also available to entertain any questions you may have.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
How are you? Good evening. Mark Cooper, 6801 Southwest 75 Terrace, Miami, Florida. At the first reading, I stood up here and I commended the city staff for this ordinance. And again, I do it. I'm in full favor of it. Today, I had two prospective tenants in the area telling that the zoning was changing and I could maybe offer them these pieces of land and they weren't so intensive with contamination and everything. So trying to merge the use of the area away. The only thing is that as I told one of the prospective tenants, in this area here, the sewer line is in place, but will be operating in the next 6 months. I thought to myself, am I really kind of so sure about this? So again, I would ask you to please make sure that the sewer line that gets put in place or is in place or will be in place or should be in place is in place at some point, because whatever we're doing today with this enlightened legislation has no effect if Durham won't allow uses on those lands because they have no sewer lines. So please put the staff's feet to the fire to get this done and put the resources in place so we can get away from contamination and make the city the great city it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing is closed. All right. Any questions from Mr. Gay on this item? All right, Madam Clerk, we can call a question.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving on to 16B2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, considering approval for the renaming of the City of Opa-locka Police Department to the Opa-locka Police Department Timothy Holmes Headquarters, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on January the 8th, 2025. This is sponsored by Commissioner Santiago.
All right, this, can I get a motion? Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly,
Second.
second by Commissioner Irving. Commissioner Santiago?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If it's not any question for me or any discussion about the area item. My idea is to recognize the good work our friend and brother that today he's resting in heaven he do for the great city of Opa-locka. And I know that he always loved that police department here, and he always be the biggest supporter for that our police department here in the city. I living up to my colleagues, but this is my concern about that resolution to bring it up and the ordinance. And I tell the manager, I believe like if we need anything, funds for doing that, okay, we're gonna get it. And this is my position in that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. All right, any questions to the sponsor on this item? All right, Commissioner Santiago, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
It's not really a question, but the name, to me, it's something wrong. Can we switch it around some kind of way? The Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters or the Timothy Holmes Public Safety Office, because the City of Opa-locka Police Department, Timothy Holmes, it doesn't.
Yeah, this, well, okay.
So can we call it maybe my suggestion?
You think it's long, no?
Yeah, the
And
Timothy Holmes.
I like the
Public
first,
Safety Headquarters.
I like the first one that you mentioning. Okay,
The City of, the Timothy Holmes Police
police.
Headquarters.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think it's
'cause,
better.
yeah.
It's not a problem with me to amend it and change it.
All right, Madam Attorney. So instead of the City of the Opa-locka Police Department, Timothy Holmes Headquarters, it'll be the Opa-locka Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters. You got it?
Taking out department, right?
Taking out department. It's just,
So just to restate, Opa-locka Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters.
No, just repeat it again.
That's what he said.
that is what I said. So the
It's still
Opa-locka
long?
Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters.
Or police department.
Police, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, police department.
The
that things
department,
out.
that
Yeah,
department is weird.
it's weird. What you want to call it headquarters?
You-
Headquarters,
I
okay.
don't know. It's just the department before the Timothy Holmes. It's weird.
The main thing is to recognize Commissioner Timothy Holmes when our police department. Okay, it can be the native Commissioner Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters. It's fine with me.
That's
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Kelly.
yeah, since you always want to give someone the highest title, if you would just say, Vice Mayor Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters, I think that captures your concern about the word department and also gives him his highest title when you're doing the signage. I think that would address all
Yeah.
of it. Give his
Okay.
highest title.
So the Vice Mayor Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters. You got that, Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's my motion. Do we need to vote? Because it is an ordinance.
You will need to
right.
amend.
So can I get a second on the motion? Second by Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, sorry.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 on the amendment.
All right, now we're gonna vote on the actual ordinance, but Madam Attorney, I want to hear from your mouth. Can you read it into the record, the entire ordinance with new name?
The entire title or
Yeah.
just the name?
The entire
Title.
title.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, considering approval for the renaming of the City of Opa-locka's Police Department to the Vice Mayor Timothy Holmes Police Headquarters, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We can go ahead and call the question, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving on to item 16B3.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3, Division 3, Section 2-132, paren A, entitled Calling and Notice, Article 4, Division 1, Section 2-3163B, entitled Administrative Policies, Powers, Duties, and Functions of the City Manager, Article 6, Division 1, Section 2-320.2D1, entitled Cone of Silence, Chapter 8.5, Section 8.5-3B, entitled Resolution Calling Election Required, Contents of Publication, Article 5, Section 13-102A, entitled Sale of Seized Machine Disposition and Monies, Article 3, Section 19-29B, entitled Public Hearing and Naming by City Commission Referendum, Article 3, Division 1, Section 21-110F, entitled Exception and Interim Package Treatment Facilities to eliminate the requirement for newspaper publication, providing for severability, conflict, and repealer, and providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on January the 8th, 2025, and this is sponsored by the city clerk.
All right, can I get a motion? Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this ordinance is due to recent changes in state law, which no longer requires municipalities to publish legal ads in the newspaper. This ordinance is just to eliminate language throughout the city's code that makes reference to that requirement. So basically, this just going through the code and making sure that that language is eliminated.
All right. Sorry, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any question for the city clerk at this time? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving on to item 16B4.
An ordinance of the City
I'm
Commission.
sorry, Madam Attorney, before you read this item, I have a problem. I'm gonna ask the manager to defer this item. Because at the last meeting, we asked that you all make changes. This commission did, and I think it's a slap in the face that y'all bring the exact same item without the changes that the commission asked for. So I don't know where that came from, but it is the exact same piece of legislation from the January 22nd meeting. Without the changes, we asked to take out the residential part of it. And it's still in this legislation.
Mr. Mayor,
Madam Manager?
with that being said, I will be deferring agenda item 16
B4.
B4 to the March 12th regular commission meeting.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 16B5.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Ordinance 15-31 of the Land Development Regulations, Article 4, Section 22-1010 or O, related to the historic downtown Opa-locka District, HDOD, to increase the maximum building heights to no higher than 105 feet and 10 stories to comply with Federal Aviation Administration Regulations, Part 77, to ensure safety and livability, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on January the 22nd, 2025, and this is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Irvin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Manager, this is your item. Go ahead.
The city's current building height is restricted to 7 stories in the historic downtown Opa-locka district. This amendment will allow for an increase to 10 stories for the downtown area only. Mr. Gay can answer any questions you may have.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. All right, any questions for Mr. Gay on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, go ahead and call the question.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving on to the city manager's report. Madam Manager, you have the floor.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, I submitted a written report to the City Commission on yesterday and will entertain any concerns that you may have at this time.
All right, do we have any questions or concerns to the manager at this moment?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Kelly?
I do have some concerns, but I'll speak with you in depth on the rest of them, but I did want to get an update on the PSAs. I did see one out there. I know you said that you'll work on this. I'd like to get update on that. And also where we are on the beautification initiative update. And the others I'll get to you tomorrow.
All right, any other questions?
Yes, Mr.
I'm sorry, you know, any, Commissioner Santiago?
Thank you. Madam Manager, I have some concerns about situation that we have, around the city, and I want to make that in public, okay, to see what we can do or what is the plan that we have, okay, to stop all these problems that we have, especially around this side of the west side. And also the other side of Magnolia, or the triangle area, okay, it's coming a lot of things from this area. And when we're talking about beautification of the city, it's including a lot of things, okay? One of the things is, have order, okay, with the city residents, to make them understand that we have rules and regulation. Perfect. That's not a problem. And I know that we have our own police department in the great city of Opa-locka. And I know that they do the best, to protect and to make our city safe. But it's a couple of areas that I don't see any safety there. And it's already be a resident when a lot of people, they may and renew the houses. We have on the other side a complex of apartment. And this is not that somebody told me. It's me, I see it with my own eyes. We selling drugs there the whole day. All day, especially at nighttime. And people that be afraid even to go out in that particular areas. And we're talking about that we have children there, we have woman, family, all together. And I like to know, that's also like part of the beautification and to make the city in order. What do we have for that places? They stay there for long. We're not talking about that they new. They there for long year. And I'm not afraid to say that because that's the resident coming to me and complain about that. Yeah, we be talking about safety. We be talking about a lot of other things, and fine. But what about that? Not that situation that we have. Who gonna handle it? What department that we had to call to stop all these drug dealers or people there in the street selling drug anytime, nighttime, daytime, everywhere. Like the way that I see the other side of Magnolia Park, the triangle, it's a lot of people that they investing a lot of money in there in new houses and getting beautiful better than before. But we still have the same problem at night when the drugs dealers. Do they have any plan to stop that, Madam Manager?
I have heard your concerns. The police have heard your concerns. We'll make sure that we patrol that area more frequently and provide something to the commission moving forward.
Yeah, not only patrol, it's me take some action. And if our police department need equipment or need anything that they need to make our city safe, please. And I want to be always nice, and I'm sorry, I'm Latin American and Afro Dominican, okay? And sometimes I talk, and I get excited, but it's not me that I want to make you feel, all the way, because I'm supportive. I like the work that you do, Madam Manager. I think the city's quiet, everything going smooth, and I love that job that you're doing. Okay, it's not me. The meeting passed that I say that. I say that because I want to see some order in the city. I want to see changes. It's the time to change Opa-locka. We cannot accept in that neighborhood, in both sides, the east side or the west side. When that situation, if the police department they need anything, we here to support them. Okay, but I want to see some action as soon as we can in that area. Let's ending, and that's one of the main entrances to the historical city hall. Okay, and we're gonna have that in April, I think, a very big event, the Arabian Night. I don't want the tourists or the people pass by there and they say that we're selling drugs in one of the main entrances for the city. Please, that's my concern, Madam Manager. Thank you.
All right, any other concerns to the manager at this moment? All right. All right, moving on to the official board reports. Seeing none. We're going on to our mayor and commission report. Commissioner Bass. Yeah, say that. Okay, so Commissioner Bass's report is that we have, she just want to say that chess is coming back March 1st. So bring your kids out, the adults, those of you that love the game of chess, you can meet the commission as well as Commissioner Bass at, where is it? It's going to be at, it's on the, where is it? I'm sorry. It's on the thing. A flyer will be presented on social media for the chess tournament on March 1st. All right, Commissioner Santiago?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week I made some decision to bring some kind of event or activity to or one of the more popular community that we have here in the great city of Opa-locka. We're talking about the Dominican community in the city that is big. And year before I helped them, and I celebrated what we call in the Independent Days for Dominican Republic. And I tried to bring in an item, but the item be I don't want to say be stopped, but it be slack. Okay, I cannot bring him because I don't have enough time to bring him to the commission. But it's something that I want to do for, for that community. It is not going to cost anything to the city, but I want to make it a public to tell you that all my colleagues they inviting to that event that I want to make for the 27th of this month. I don't have the place yet. It can be Chavandi or probably the place that Mr. Logan have there behind our building. But it's gonna be a breakfast, a good breakfast, Dominican breakfast, and I hope everybody's inviting, and it's not gonna cost anything, okay, to the city, and I'm gonna sponsor that for myself. Nothing to do with any money for the city.
Got it. And you said it's February 27th?
Yeah, February 27. I try to do it like between 10 a.m. to 12. Okay. I think that's a Thursday if I'm not making a mistake.
And the location will be?
I don't have the location yet, but I believe that we're gonna working on that, and I'm gonna let them know the clerk's office and the manager, and like that we can split the invitation for the rest of my colleagues.
Okay, so Commissioner,
After Commissioner, I will address that.
I was just about to say something. Okay, so I know that day, majority of us will be in Orlando for the Black
Oh,
caucus. So
the majority.
the majority.
Well,
But we will support you in spirit.
me.
Is the reason why, is
It's
that date
that's
the
what I'm
only
saying.
date that can be
Is
done?
that the only day that can be done?
Well, yeah, that's the day for the holiday for that
that's the holiday.
independent. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the things. I can see if we can celebrate it, the day before, but it's gonna be a little
No,
difficult.
I
That.
understand if it's the
Yeah.
same day. Well, depending on what venue you have, I want to tape my comments so they can hear it at
Okay.
your breakfast.
Yes.
I'll get with IT and take my comments. 'Cause
Not a problem.
I know I won't be in town.
You,
So,
we can put you in Zoom, and you can speak to the people that they are good.
you know,
And,
I've
and
done
also,
it before. Remember, I've done it before.
I know, yeah, you're doing before. Yeah, and the reason why that I want to bring it to the commissioner that I cannot bring that ordinance, in front of you, is because I try to use the historical city hall to make a commemoration to the independent to put the flag in front of the historical city hall. But if it's not possible, it's okay. We're gonna have the breakfast.
All right, yes, sir. All right. Well, like Commissioner Kelly said, we'll give you our what you said? Zuma said.
Okay.
I'll take my comments so you
take
can
my
put them on the program at the appropriate time of the breakfast. That's
Yeah.
all.
We'll
That's
make-
usually that's what you do when you can't make it. And I know we're already committed. Well, I'm committed out of town, so I want to let the community know we're sliding, overlooking. We do have a large Dominican population, and I've done that with him before, co-hosting. I mean, it is a major event, and I support it wholeheartedly. It's just the timing of when it's occurring. So I'll prepare my remarks. I'm quite sure, like all of us will, but you can just tape them in at the program. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Irvin? Oh.
You know, y'all something else on here. Like, y'all in timeout. Y'all.
Vice Mayor.
It's good. It's good. We hosted our monthly farm share distribution, which is always the first Wednesday of each month at Shabani Pavilion. We serviced over 300 families in about 3 hours. I always thank my co-host, the mayor, Commissioner Irvin, and all of my colleagues for being supportive. As always, to our volunteers and city staff, the clerk, the manager's office, public works, police for their support. We also hosted a clergy luncheon with local pastors on last Thursday in preparation for our annual National Day of Prayer, which is co-hosted really by the entire commission. Commissioner Bass and Commissioner Santiago as co-host, talking about National Day of Prayer, also upcoming citywide community revival to be held in the summer, and the return of our monthly 12 noon prayer for our city to start in the coming months. I certainly want to thank the staff, my colleagues for their support, and for Commissioner Santiago and the mayor were able to stop by. We also attended the mandatory ethics training for elected officials that was held in Miami Lakes last week as well. We participated and hosted from the CRA side last Saturday, community neighborhood cleanup in Magnolia North. And I will be coming forth as we talk about some of the areas over there that we need to enhance with parks and other programming as well. We also held our monthly Meet Me Monday community engagement this past Monday, as always, to hear concerns of our residents and business owners in the community. Certainly want to thank the manager for allowing staff to be there in attendance. And as a spinoff to that, and working with her, and really to my colleagues, I think it's a good idea on a quarterly basis, instead of having a speaker, to really have staff present to give a brief presentation and have the community to be able to engage with them in a very different setting than just coming here in a meeting. We did have a couple of situations where residents, even at maybe Monday, had concerns, and staff was able to, if not address all of them, but to give them some comfort level that they're working on it, they hear their concerns. So I want to really put that into motion with the support of the manager, spoke to her briefly about it. So we're excited about that. We're also working since it did pass tonight. I want to thank all of you because it really is a commission effort. Our Feeding South Florida initiative and what we're doing and like to do to my colleagues and Mr. Mayor, because I know you'll sponsor legislation for our, what is it, Human Services Initiative Department. And I know you're working on that. That is a part of that until you get it really going. As a part of our South Florida initiative for Feeding South Florida to include additional resources that can benefit our residents and community. And for our February 21st, when we have confirmed, Florida DMV on wheels. I think we have the 10 North Assistance Program and a couple of others to provide additional resources to our residents and community when they're getting their food. They can also stop by that tent or table to get additional information that can be helpful to them as a part of that outreach. And then hopefully as you work towards how you're going to structure the Human Services Department, that could be a spinoff that you can roll that over into that, because I know that's the long-term goal, that we'll have our own social service component here in the city of Opa-locka that our residents can attend. So if you have any community partners or someone who's offering services to our community that can be beneficial, please reach out to the clerk's office, because again, this is really, although I'm there kind of as a host, it's really a commission initiative for all of us to be a part of. One of the reasons why we do the Feeding South Florida is because we know it's a lot of healthy items, and we're living in a time where everybody needs to eat healthy. And so it's a great initiative. So always welcome the support. I know it's difficult sometimes since folks are working, but we want to continue that and look forward to that being even more successful moving forward. I finally want to just commend, and I think he left, but on behalf of at least myself, I want to thank the communications folks for coming out to some of the things we're having. Unfortunately, as I said, even at the State of the City address, Mr. Mayor, with all of that positivity, we didn't pick up any press. But if you, I think I said it to Commissioner Santiago, if we had been arguing or fighting, the news people would have been front and center. And so it's such a beautiful event, and all of the things that we're doing, whether it's bingo, whether it's chess, whether it's whatever, we don't tend to get any positive press. And so we have to tell our own stories. So to that end, I'm thankful that they're coming out and at least showcasing. We still got to go to another level to get our story told, because we are doing a lot of good things in the city that unfortunately sometimes go unnoticed until something negative happens. So that is my report for the night. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to my colleagues.
Thank you. Well, Commissioner Kelly, I do want to correct one thing. We did get positive press. We were front page on the Miami Times, I believe. A beautiful picture of Commissioner Irvin and her nice pink.
See, I don't get the Miami Times. I don't get the Times anymore, so that's why I didn't see it.
So we got, yeah.
About Channel 7.
So I'm going into the mayor's report.
Sir,
Oh, shoot, I thought you said no. I'm sorry. We're trying to we're trying to get out of here.
Here you go.
We've been doing good at 9 o'clock.
really quickly, it'll be really quick. It's just we were skipping Kelly and because he was responding and not giving his report. So that's why I said Kelly. Okay. My police officers, I am, oh my God, I'm in awe of what I heard that they did at that accident on Saturday night. And I've already had conversation with our manager. She said, you know, future accommodations are coming. I just want you guys to know that I am so proud of you all. Even the next day, leaving my mom's house, I passed by and our officers were there making a memorial to the family. My heart really bleeds for them, really goes out for them. But kudos to our police department. Also, February 14th, yes, it's Love Day. I already know the two men to my left won't be there, but we're having bingo. Yes, Valentine's bingo. at your Bundy. Please come out. We're gonna give you guys a little food too because it's Valentine's Day. We're gonna have a little food. So please come
I
out.
can't take Mercedes to the bingo. I have to tell no.
It'll be a cheap date. Bring your date. Come out, hang out with us.
I'm gonna have a
We're
pretty
out
decent
by
day.
8. We're out by 8. We'll be finished. Also, if I could ask you guys to do a save the date. It's been a while since we've had it, but karaoke will be March 22nd, and it's gonna be rodeo karaoke. So pull out those cowboy hats, cowboy boots. Come out. Let's make it happen. The same day is. Okay.
Be sure that we make noise there.
The next thing I have is the ribbon cutting was beautiful. Everything worked out really nice. It was really nice, and I want to say thank you for my gift. Thank you,
Oh yeah, thank you.
and I'm finished.
That's nice. Yeah.
You did not check the calendar.
Yeah.
You need to discuss that with them. All right. Moving right along to the mayor's report. So quickly, we had the 99 finalists, but you gave us a written report. But I just want you to eventually tell the commission how many we started, what we've accomplished thus far, and what's the next steps for the rest. If not, we can do it individually. You can meet with us individually unless you all have questions on 99 finalists. Yeah, but I said you provided it in the report,
Yes,
so I'm good with that. The other thing is the board presentations by the interim city manager and our clerk.
The city clerk's office have provided a board report to the elected officials. It was sent via email and a hard copy. We ask that you take some time to review the recommendations and provide those recommendations to us so we can move accordingly.
Okay, so you're not ready to present this? You want to
No, we want to allow you time to review it.
review it?
It's
Okay,
lengthy.
that's fair. All right, so moving along, I want to publicly thank all staff and everyone, the city manager's office, the city clerk's office, city attorney, to Ms. Faraba Wright for the state of the city. It was a great event. We cut the ribbon to Historical City Hall, and I'm appreciative that Opa-locka finally has its home restored. So that's one good thing that we're doing. Also, this past Thursday, we had our mayor's business luncheon where we launched the Opa-locka, the greater, what is it? I'm sorry. The Greater Chamber, Opa-locka Chamber of Commerce, an initiative that we started in the city of Opa-locka that we're trying to bring all of our businesses together. We had about 70 something businesses that showed up. And at that time, we created our board. We established one of our board members are here. And we had a multitude of businesses from small mom and pop restaurants. And you would be surprised the businesses that are in Opa-locka. Some of them I didn't even know existed, but they were there and they heard the call. So we are bringing our businesses together, and we'll do a more formal introduction to the chamber at a later date. I want to urge our commission to complete the survey for the vision retreat, which is our strategic planning. It was emailed out by Miss Ashley Walker because we want to make sure that all of our ideas are encompassed in the vision, in the strategic planning. So write it down, jot it down. At that moment, they'll present a plan to us, and then we'll also have a working lunch where whatever you miss or whatever you want to say more, you can add it at that time. And I believe the date for the vision retreat is March 15th. March 15th. And the location will be sent out soon. The location will be sent out soon. Also, Mr. Dennis spoke to it, and also Commissioner Irvin spoke to it, but I got a lot of calls commending our Opa-locka Police Department from neighboring agencies for a job well done. But I just want to highlight the actual officer, which was, I believe, Officer Kirby Nord. Kirby Nord, that was the one that stopped on the scene. He was actually, I believe, going home or coming to work. He saw it, stopped on the scene, and he reacted. And even to all of the officers that actually joined him,
during that time. Our heart goes out to the family, want to keep them lifted up in prayer because that is tough to lose a complete family and there were children involved. So we want to make sure, hence why we are tackling speeding in the city of Opa-locka, because this is becoming a problem. So shout out Chief to Officer Kirby Nord, and I know accommodations will be coming soon. But thank you for that. Also, to my commission, we got a slight issue. And the issue is that we all will be out the end of the month for the Florida Black Caucus and the trip that we go to every year. However, there is a commission meeting the day before. So most of us will be traveling that day. So I'm asking to poll the commission to see if we can cancel to maybe if the manager needs to reschedule the commission meeting or just cancel the meeting altogether.
Mr. Mayor, can you deal with the issue here as opposed to, since you've announced it, as opposed to polling?
This is the issue that I'm dealing with
Perfect.
now.
Thank you.
You gotta let me finish, Madam Attorney. Let me
Thank you.
finish. So I'm asking to poll the commission. I'm polling the commission now so that we can deal with it now because, yeah, 3 of us will be out. So there is a lack of quorum. Are you all, I don't know, I'm sorry. Are you all going?
No.
No, you got the event.
Yeah, I have the event, and thank God that I'm gonna have somebody with me.
So we need to poll to see if we can cancel that meeting. And if need be, we can reschedule it for either the day before or maybe the 2 days before or the week after if there are pressing items from the manager. So my vote is to cancel the meeting on the 26th, but we would need to poll. Oh, Commissioner Irvin,
I'm
to cancel
Yes.
and
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
only reason I'm going, I don't mind canceling, but I know we have is there any second readings that have been proposed for, that date that we could change?
Any second readings that, any first reading ordinances that were voted on today would not be on the next meeting anyway. They will be on the March first meeting in March.
I just wanted that said for the record.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can cancel meeting.
All right. And Madam Manager, do you have any pressing items for?
No, sir.
No, sir. And are you all okay with us canceling? All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to cancel the meeting on and then we can vote. So motion to cancel the meeting on the 26th. Can I get a second for that motion?
Second.
Motion made and second, motion made by Mayor Taylor, seconded by Vice Mayor Kelly. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass? Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, moving along, we usually go to our official board appointments, but the manager has asked that we delay it until we review the package and we'll come back by the next meeting to discuss are you gonna do a presentation at that time? Or you want to discuss with us one-on-one, Madam Manager?
One-on-one
One-on-one.
discussions.
And then you'll submit something
Yes.
as a whole. All right, so we'll moving right along. So can we have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly, second by Commissioner Santiago. This meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Corey.
Not